Good morning, everybody. Very first time I'm trying to go live on my computer. As you can see, the background's a little bit different, a lot wider. I'm not sure if my eyes will be looking at you. Hopefully they will be. Yeah, it's not gonna kind of come through this way. So I'm hoping that all of this is gonna work as it normally does on the phone. What I'm gonna do, as per normal on a Monday morning, I will share this live in the groups that it needs to go live. Oh, I can see Gerda there. There you go. She can see me. I'm just trying to see how it all looks. It's first time, guys, on a computer screen on Chrome. I'm going live and it's not on my phone, and I have to prop it and try to manage it all. So it's really, really exciting. All right, so let me just share this live across my two groups, and we'll officially start the content at 9 a.m. this morning, which I thought was something that, well, it came up during this retreat that I went to over the weekend, the Nurture and Heal retreat with Joy, which was very nurturing, very healing, lots of yummy food, lots of relaxing, and we just had lots of conversations, and this topic was something that came up that I wanted to talk about this morning. It looks great, Gerda says. Excellent. All right, this is the way we're going to do live from now on, and pretty much I can share my screen with you guys if you haven't tried this way of going live. You can share screen and all sorts of funky things with it. All right, let me just share this across to my couple of groups that it's going to go live in as well, because it's just in my personal profile. And I've got a page of notes. I don't know if you can see that, but page of notes in terms of all of the things that I wanted to cover off this morning with you guys. All right, one more share. Author your way to riches. Hope you're having an awesome pre-Christmas season. I know I am, but I'm doing a lot of late nights. Yes, I'm working. My days are kind of free, and then everything starts to get all heated up after 3-4 o'clock as Dubai wakes up, and I need to be having some chats and author preps. Like this week I'm slammed after 4 p.m. every day till 10 p.m. So my work day has been starting a little bit later because we're in the lead up of 1 month before the Dubai retreat. So everyone's getting prepped, and everyone, like last minute people coming on board and all that sort of stuff. So please feel free to comment and write notes and ask questions about this topic, or confirm something, or maybe share some ideas as to how you do this, because I know there's this whole big world of education and mentorship and coaches, and those of you that follow me are coaches, and I know you guys get coached, and I know also that you have invested in a lot of programs as I have. And one of the things, and why I think I'm in the rightful place or the right person to talk about this, because on hand on heart, I fully, truly believe that every single mentor and every single program that I have invested in, I have got ROI, if not 10 times, a minimum 3 or 4 times of what I've done the investment. And some I've got 100 times fold, my investment now in, after a number of years. So the only one that I'll say that I didn't get an ROI on is years ago, 6 years ago, probably in the first year that we started in business, 7 years ago probably, was the time when we invested in this internet website setup kind of business. We went to this like pitch fest kind of day with Stuart, and we invested in this business where you had to send traffic and get affiliate marketing, all that sort of stuff. And literally it was a scam. So it was a scam that we followed every single instruction that we were given over the full 12 months we were involved with this, because there was a 12-month money back guarantee. If you completed all the work you had to do in those 12 months, then you provide, obviously the proof that, if it didn't work for you, you didn't get your ROI, that you get your money back. And we pursued that, and then there was all of this small print and scammy kind of things, so we didn't get our money back. And that is the only program that I have ever invested in that turned out to be inauthentic and fake. So yes, that can happen to all of us in life, but here I'm going to talk about the ones that people that you spend time with, obviously enormous amounts of money could be, how to make sure that you get ROI. Because, good morning, Kitty. Because the most important thing, number one, most important thing in any relationship when you are you've invested in someone or you're doing a big high-end program is to ensure that, number one, that you take responsibility. So, and that, you know, the only person that you must be integral to is yourself. Okay, so I've got quite a few points here on my list that I prepared this morning in terms of what are the biggest mistakes that I see people making and what are the things that you need to do. So I'll tackle one at a time. It doesn't have to be in any orderly fashion, but perhaps you might identify yourself in one of these or more of these in terms of the mistakes that you have made. Good morning, Christian. Awesome. You're looking forward to getting ROI. Yeah, and this is obviously, this call is also recorded or being broadcast live to all of my clients as well, because my clients invest significant amounts of money. Our program is $19,000 and I want every single one of them to get ROI. Okay, and I'm going to talk generalization. I'm going to talk from my own experience, from what I've observed other people doing programs with other people, people doing programs with me, and all that kind of stuff. Because in this world, the common known statistic is that just 3% of people who invest in high-end programs actually follow through to get ROI or do something with that information. And that's such a tiny percentage, such a tiny percentage. And one thing that when I started out and I found out about this, and there were actually some other stats that were shared when I started out as a coach. I got an email from a fellow coach, and some of you may have heard me say this before, and it was something like 95% of coaches will never earn a six-figure income. Less than 1% of coaches will ever earn a six-figure income. 95% of coaches or speakers or consultants will spend more on their education than they will ever earn through their business. And 9 out of 10 will quit within the first 9 months of starting out. Like, that was an email that came through in my super early days, like under a year. And I looked at it and I went, shit. How am I going to be in that 1%, right? And overall, there's the known 3% success rate through people who do programs and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, my question always, so that's going to be out there whether you like it or not. And hopefully by listening to this call, you'll pick up some tips and tricks and things not to do and things to do, and to make a decision and put the line in the sand now that you too are going to aim to be in that 1 to 3% of people that are going to follow through. They're going to get their ROI and change their life, right? Because ultimately, why do we invest in a program? Why do we invest in a mentor? Because we want to make a significant life or business transformation, right? That is going to impact the way we feel about ourselves, the world, the impact that we make in this world, right, ultimately. So the first thing I want to cover off, and I've got a list of 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10 points here. The first thing I've got to, and that's perhaps actually the first tip, to ask yourself that question as I did. So how the hell am I going to end up in those 1 to 3%? How do what does a person who ends up in that small percentage, need to do to get the ROI? So the very first thing, even before someone has committed to a program or a mentor, oftentimes, and the people that I meet have issues with getting support from their partners or their family, okay? And why does that happen? Why isn't there that unwavering support and go for it, go for your dreams and all that kind of stuff? Thanks, Kitty. I'm new to the broadcasting just off my computer, so like the comments are on the side, and I'm almost like going, am I reading this? And anyway, but keep writing comments. And so you don't get support from your partner or your family, because if you've been the type of person who has invested time and time beforehand into programs, into mentors, and it was a wonderful thing at the time, and you went through the honeymoon period where you're so committed and so passionate about it and all that sort of stuff, but when things came push to shove and you really needed to step out of your comfort zone, you probably went, oh, this is really not for me. It's not my passion. I don't know. Maybe it's not the right decision. And then you went off and found the next shiny thing that you invested in. So after a period of time, what happens is people, your family, your husband, your partner, your wife, whoever it is, right? You know, are kind of going to go, this is just another thing she or he is, you know, going to do, and they'll be excited for 5 minutes. And they're kind of thinking, especially if the other person is the main breadwinner, they're kind of thinking, I'm working my butt off here, and then I'm funding these things that are promising she's going to make all this money and all this, you know, she's going to bring in this income, and, you know, we're going to have a better lifestyle, but nothing really happens. And year after year after year, they start not being able to trust you. Jade just saying, I've just invested in my first money. Great place to be, Jade, because this is where you're going to learn, after someone who's been investing for the last 8 years, all of the things that other people stuff up. And then all of, you know, so you don't waste your time and you don't waste your money, and you also end up getting your ROI, right? So support from partners will only come when you actually turn up and do the freaking work, right? You do the work, you show how hard you're working day and night, and you just, you know, never once has Stuart turned around and said, you can't do this program, you can't do this, because he knows, because I have shown references for doing the work, getting out there, doing what I don't like, stepping out of my comfort zone, staying up late, getting up before everyone has to get up so I can get my homework done. Even this year, when I was about to embark on a national tour, I invested in an 8-week high-end 5-figure program that I needed to implement all of these things. And all of a sudden, I'm about to go on a national tour and be slammed with so much work. I'm embarking on having to do 20 to 30 hours of study, if you like, and setup of this. Did I do it? Yeah, because I just kind of plucked out the spare hours because I knew I had skin in the game, and I knew I wanted to get my ROI quicker. Now, your ROI from mentors and programs when you're brand new in business may not happen as quickly as you think, right? You may not happen instantly the next week. There is a certain period of you figuring out your messaging, your positioning, your product, your offering, all of those kind of things, and testing and measuring, right? Just like when you invest into any marketing, people to help you with your marketing. Maybe you need help with your Facebook advertising. I know when we started Facebook advertising, it was like, you know, try this, try that, you know, and we invest a ton of money for not a lot of return, not a lot of leads and all that kind of stuff. So there's a delay with initially when you have mentors. And I know I had my first mentor for 2.5 years, and it's only at the end of all of that, those 2.5 years, I would say I could prove that I got my ROI. It was like, you know, those last 6 months of all of that a relationship that I could see it. In the first year, I made $7,000. Yes, I invested over $40,000 in my programs and mentors and education, but I still kept putting one foot in front of the other and investing what I had to invest to get, you know, keep tweaking and refining and figuring out this game of business and sales and marketing and all that sort of stuff. So just be mindful if you are going to invest and you do have a partner and you have a family who you want the support from, you want to show them that you're doing the work. You want to show them that you're putting the extra mile and you're doing all of these things that perhaps that are so uncomfortable and so unfamiliar, you know, that you are putting in the work and putting in the time and getting out there and making it happen. So let's talk about some mistakes that people make when they invest in a mentor. So a lot of people, you'll tell, the mentor will tell them, okay, you need to do X, Y, and Z, okay? Go out there this week and do X, Y, and Z, or this fortnight, whatever it is. And then they go, no, I'm cleverer than that. I'm just going to go and do A, B, and C instead of X, Y, and Z, right? And they invent their own steps, okay? You've hired a mentor, you've gone into a program. So this relates, whether it's a group program, whether it's a mentor, or whether it's like a system you've invested in, right? and then they start inventing their own steps. They go, no, I know better than that. No, this will be better for me, kind of thing. That's the excuse. It'll be better for me. But we know the road to success is to model someone who's obviously achieved that success and to go as close as possible to the way they've done it, right? And that's why people come and do the 48-hour author program with me, because they go, she's done it 8 times, she's helped over 200 people do it, but I still have those clients who come into my program and try to change it and try to invent their own steps. No, I'm going to focus on this first instead of that first. I go, no. I go, focus on your content first. You don't need to worry so much about your final chapter names and book cover names and taglines. Focus on your content, because it's the content that's going to be the most time-consuming part of what you do. Then the prettying up, the sexing up, all of that sort of stuff can come in the layout stages where you make your final decisions. Good morning, Darren, and good morning to everyone else who's been joining and coming and going and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so stop inventing your own steps. When you cook a recipe, it's got steps. When you hire a personal trainer, they're going to tell you to do certain things because they're good to be done in a certain order or a certain way. This is the same way if your mentor is telling you those steps. So where the second mistake comes into this is, so you've hired a mentor, you're doing a program, and then you start listening to others. Or you start asking questions on social media and you go, oh, guys, what do you think about this? Or what should I do? Oh, my God, it's like opening a can of worms, where you're going to get 1,000,001 opinions. There's so many different ways, you guys, to get to success. You've obviously hired somebody or invested in a program that you love the outcome that they have achieved or she or he has achieved, and you want to get and be that person or become or have that result, right? So if you want that, follow that path in that linear way. Of course, success is not a linear line where it goes, oh yeah, here it goes, success, right? You're going to make mistakes and you're going to chop and turn and do all sorts of stuff. But it's really, really, really important that if you're going to get a mentor, invest in a program, that you put your blinkers on and that you listen to that person or do that program and do their steps and don't ask anyone else for advice, because you're going to get overwhelmed by a number of opinions. They're going to confuse you. And guess what? Confused mind will create paralysis, and you're going to say, no, I'm not doing this because this is too hard. There's just too many options. In this world of abundance of information and connection through social media and all that, we can get so overwhelmed that we will just freeze and go shut down and not progress and just go, this is too hard. When something's too hard, the human psyche does not want to go there because we are looking for the path of least resistance. Okay, so the path of least resistance is actually just stick with what you've decided, the decision you've made in terms of what program and mentor you're going to work with, and then go along that line. So stop listening and asking for advice from other people when you're working with someone who's an expert and someone who's showing you the steps. Good morning to a few of you who have joined. Okay, so here we go. The next point I want to make is, who is your mentor? So are they the God that knows all the answers? No, they don't. They don't know all the answers. I call all of my mentors and all of the people in the programs that I have been part of tweakers. They're my tweakers. They're not always going to give me the spot-on advice, the one that's going to get me the ROI and all that sort of stuff. They're not. They're just tweakers. They adjust you. If you're going a certain way, they're going to go, no. Come back this way because you're getting distracted. Just like some of my authors who go, oh, but I can't decide on this chapter name or that chapter. No, focus on your content. Come back to where you need to be. And very much so, the saying here, get in line and stay in line, is so, so important. It's really important, as I said to you guys before, if you have chosen a certain path to follow to achieve a certain outcome, you stay that course. You wouldn't believe how many people I have met over the last 4 years since Ultimate 48-Hour Author has been running that have said, oh my God, I invested in this book writing program, in this expert program that was going to teach me how to write a book and da 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 da. And so many times, and I said, why haven't you written your book? Like, you know, oh, but that wasn't the right thing for me, or they were like this, or they were like that. They were like nothing. All programs generally out there, yes, there is scams out there, but I would say, you know, focus on, you know, obviously doing your due diligence in searching out the information and looking for social proof and all that kind of stuff. But most programs have got a sure-proof system if you follow it. I was telling the girls at the retreat on the weekend about a book that I bought off the shelf when my son wasn't sleeping at night. My very first child was, you know, being a first mum as well, a lot more nervous. You know, this was 9 years ago. I couldn't get him to sleep, you know, and whenever we'd get him to sleep, 15 minutes later, he'd be awake, and I turned into a zombie. So I walked into a bookstore, and most bookstores have the how to get your child to get to sleep shelf. And I was spaced in front of the shelf with these 15 to 20 book writing, you know, books on sleeping. And I looked at the shelf, and surely enough, you know, as I teach all my authors, you know, people buy the magic bullet. I chose the book which had a red stamp on it that said results in less than 5 days. And so I bought that book. I literally spent that day while my mum was taking care of my son so I could read the whole book cover to cover. And I extracted the system. And wrote down the 12 or 15 steps that we needed to follow as a routine, as something, and got all the equipment. We needed to have white noise in the room and all this sort of stuff. And that night we began our training, right? Sleep training. And I read all the information, so I had to be fully informed. And then I went, okay, this is the system. We're not veering left or right. We're not making our own rules. We're not succumbing to a parental guilt. We're doing it, right? Night number one, I was exhausted because it was I was going to do this because my steward had to work at the time. He was still in a day job. And literally I think I got up 30 times that night, but followed the system, had the timer, there was timing, there was white noise, there was all sorts of stuff that you needed to do. Night number two, my child only woke up once. I got results in less than 3 days. And then from night number 3, he was sleeping right through the night. And the day sleeps, they said they will get sorted in like 2 weeks' time, but follow the same system. And since then, the baby 2 never sleep deprived, did the same system with baby 2. Baby 3 gave up and just decided that she would self-settle, and you know, that's how everything finished in terms of my sleep. You know, my children sleeping through the night. Why did this work? Because I didn't invent my own steps. I didn't succumb when they said I would succumb, and I followed the system. And then the book was borrowed out to more than 20 mothers that I knew of at the time, mothers group mums, all of these mums that have come into my life. It was always borrowed out. And I never heard one come back and say to me, I've had success. And this is actually a reflection of the same thing that happens when people hire a mentor or invest into a program. They don't follow the steps. Like literally, I'm telling you, just take it black and white. Just almost go, this is the step. Don't like make it fluffy or make it this way or make it that way. Just go and do it as they say, because actually to reach success, to reach ROI is not luck. It's actually following sequential steps. Some will get there faster, some will get there and will take them a little bit longer. Why does that happen? Because of, you know, everyone's life circumstances are different. Everyone's abilities are different. You may not be as techie as someone else. Maybe this system requires a lot more techie knowledge. Maybe it'll take you a little bit longer to master that. Some people have more resources. Some people might have more money, so they can invest in to set up all the techie stuff, or maybe outsource it so it's set up for themselves, right? So there's a variation. However, everyone will reach success. Some will do it sooner, some will do it later. I knew people who reached their 6 figures in their coaching business in less than 3 or 4 months of starting out. Mine didn't happen till the end of year 2, right? And I thought it was like, oh my God, I'm so slow. Like, what's happening to me, right? But I never veered from the path. I got in line and stayed in line with the vision that I was going to have a 6-figure business, part-time hours, which is what I signed up for in the coaching school when I signed up. All right, let's get into the next point. So your mentor is a tweaker. You will have to move your own mountain to get to where you're going. They're not going to do it for you. Just because you hire me to help you write a book, I'm not going to make you the success you want to be, right? I'm going to help you get to the point of, I'll do some done for you parts, certainly in the program, but where you need to leverage that book, where you need to get out there, pound the pavement and present yourself and get in front of people and speak and leverage that book, you have to do yourself, right? If, as much as people would go, I'd love to just outsource my marketing and sales, stop saying that, because you're the best person to your marketing and sales, and the very last thing you ever outsource in a business is marketing and sales. So right now, we are at the point where we have outsourced marketing to a Facebook management person. However, we're very closely working with them. And right now, what am I doing? I'm marketing, right? This is me doing my Monday morning, consistent, on time, live UBS call, adding value to my followers, to my community, to people who've perhaps never heard of me who are going to watch this. I'm doing marketing right now. When I'm out on the road doing my events, speaking, having conversations, staying up late at night right now to have qualifying chats, that's sales, right? My VA's got my admin. My mum's now got my bookkeeping. There is other things that I've been able to clear off my plate so I can do more of what I'm an expert in, and certainly then taking care of my clients. I'm glad you needed to hear this today, Megan. All right, so your mentor will not move your mountain. You have to move your own mountain. You have to take responsibility. Okay, a lot of people sometimes get in the, of course, a lot of us, including me, I have this shiny object syndrome, but thankfully I have not succumbed to it in terms of over-investing in too many programs and too many mentors. So where you get into overwhelm, similar to asking too many people for advice and for advice and, what should I do and what do you think about this? Same thing applies if you have invested in 2-3 programs, 2-3 mentors, whatever it is. You can get into overwhelm, and they could be advising you different ways in terms of reaching success. And that is where you can also start going, who do I listen to? It's a bit conflicting, the information. And guess what? The information will be conflicting. It will be, because that one person has achieved success in a certain way, another person in a certain way, and they have a certain way of showing you a system to get to that that point. So just ensure that you finish, like nowadays, certainly I can tell you in the first 2.5, 3 years, I invested in my coaching course, in a marketing masterclass, in my one-on-one mentor, and what else was there? That's pretty much it, I think. But I consumed the information, the content, the advice, like to its fullest capacity. I have so many people that enroll into my program, and there's so much available in the back end, like over 200 hours of training footage of on all sorts of topics: speaking for profit, social media, publicity, money limiting beliefs. I'm just trying to think of all of the things that are in the back end of me teaching someone how to leverage a book beyond it, but so few. I think Amy is pretty much the only person, not the only person, I know some people have access and stuff in there, but in terms of reported back to me that she sat through and consumed the majority of that content. And guess what? Ask Amy where she's now. What has she got ROI? And tell us, have you got ROI on your program? All of that sort of stuff. I know people who do the work and actually spend the most time with me and come to my master classes that are after their retreats and do consume the program and get inside my head and reverse engineer that for themselves. They get it. They just get the ROI, no doubt, right? Okay. So the next one is ask for help. Don't wait to be asked. So someone thinks, oh, I've invested in a mentor and now I'm gonna be accountable to them and they're gonna chase me up and ask how you going. And yeah, that might happen from time to time, but honestly, I don't expect that from my mentors. When I need help, if I can't sort out what homework I've been given, and by the way, that's the other tip, do your freaking homework. If you get given homework, do your homework. Right now, actually, I have got a mentor a comedy coach. I'm learning how to do a 5-minute stand-up comedy routine. And so far we've had our 3 sessions. Now you go and ask that mentor, have I submitted my homework? Yes, I have, because maybe haven't done it way ahead of time, but I was always submitted before my next session and completed. And that's progressing me to move forward as well. So ask for help. Don't wait to be asked. Don't say, oh, he's a bad mentor. He doesn't care for me. He's not ringing me to ask me how I'm going. Don't judge a mentor. That person is there, in a position of, to respect and to, for you to go, hey, can you help me? Can you show me this and that? Just imagine the people that you're getting support from are generally, I'm hoping that they're more successful than you, right? So which means they have a lot of things going on and they're supporting many, many different people. And the people who ask for help generally get the ROI. They get the ROI every single time. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, or you don't have to ask for help every single day and all this sort of stuff. Certainly, I suggest if you're going to ask for help, cluster your questions. Don't send 10 emails in one day. Pull together all your questions over a 4 or 5 day period and send them in one email, or address them in one phone call. Because the minute you're scattering your questions, your mentor will vice versa feel scattered and everything will be delivered in a wrong, just all over the place. Always say bundle and pull things together so that they are, focused, and you are just, bundling up your time to focus on solving and moving forward to the next step. The one thing, if I see a client sending lots of questions, like 3 times a day or all of that sort of stuff, I don't mind it. I'll answer it, but it's actually not good for them. It's not good for them. So I say, hey, could you please wait 2 or 3 days, bundle up your questions, because sometimes you might find that your answer will be somewhere, you might discover the answers along the way for yourself as you've gone through it. It's not just in this instant moment. And then send me and let's sit down and have a proper conversation about all of these questions that you wanted to address, right? So bundle your help, but ask for it. Don't expect to be asked, because it's like in anything in life. If you think about anyone that's in your family, friends, all that sort of stuff, if you don't ask them for help, if you ever need some help, are they going to come to you and say, do you need some help? Right? Does that ever really happen in life? Like, someone just offering help out of the blue? It doesn't. Okay, next one. Come prepared. Okay, this is one that I have seen people make a mistake over and over and over again. Come prepared. Don't expect your mentor to pull stuff out of you. Don't expect them to, sometimes I've sat in sessions and it's like pulling teeth, right? And it's like, come on, give me something. What are your questions? What can I answer? You're paying for valuable time, expertise. And so often I've had people come and just sit and just talk and wait to be asked question after question after question after question after question. And it's like, come prepared. From all the things you've been given to do, there must have been some questions. Of course, if you've done your homework, you'll have questions, right? But often people don't do their homework and they think just if I turn up is good enough. And why do people sometimes invest in mentors? Is because they feel good about solving their problem, but they're not really serious about it. Okay? They feel good about solving their problem, but they're not really serious about it. I'm doing something about my problem, but, I'm not really committed. When I had the weight loss coaching clients with my first niche, some of them would do the work and lose their weight, and others wouldn't. And they would just come week after week with their excuses and their plateaus and all of that sort of stuff that would happen, right? And my mentor at the time, I said, Pete, why aren't these people doing the work and all this sort of stuff? They're investing so much to work with me. And he'd say, Nat, sometimes some people like to think they're doing something about their problem, but they're not really. Okay, and I go, oh, okay. I just don't get it, because to me, in my life, every dollar I've put in someone, I want to pull out $10 to $20 back, right? And he said, it's just the way things are. And so I strongly encourage you, if you do hire someone, if you do invest in a program, stick with it, finish it, start to completion. Every program has a start and has a completion. Every engagement would have that, and set yourself that timeline. And it has to have that, because if it doesn't have a timeline of where you start and where you finish and what is the outcome that you get, then you're going to give yourself more time to procrastinate. Okay, more and more time to procrastinate. The last two things I want to leave you with, and we're going to go over by 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to leave you with two things. As I was driving to the retreat, to Joy's Nurture and Heal retreat on the weekend, and on the way back home yesterday, I was listening to various like inspirational talks by Abraham Hicks and Brian Tracy and Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins and all that sort of stuff. And two things that really stood out of probably the 4 or 5 hours that I spent driving the car and listening to that is the thing that would enable you to create a change. And that came from Tony Robbins, and I think it might have been from the same video. And he said that we need to turn our shoulds into musts, okay? So if you want to change your life, turn your shoulds into musts, right? Makes sense. Often people say, I should exercise, I should eat better, I should meditate, I should go out networking, I should, coulda, woulda, all of those that we know. But what about if you said, I must exercise, I must eat well, I must do anything in my power to grow my business, I must listen to my mentor, I must do my homework. When you say that, you kind of go, there's no try or should, it's a must. It's like full on, full stop. The second thing that he said, if you want to change your life, is to raise your standards. So is the standard you're living with is kind of like what you've settled for? Or is there a new standard that you want to increase your life to? And I have to say, upon reflection of these two key statements that he talked in extent over that whatever video it was I was listening to, I was thinking, okay, it just confirms that what I've been doing the last 7.5 years is exactly that. I've turned all the shoulds into all musts. And definitely every 6 months, every 12 months, when I sit back, my standard of life, my standard of health, my standard of being a parent keeps increasing and increasing and increasing, and going, what else can I do? Where else can I, how can I even better myself and have a new standard of living, a new comfort zone, and a new way to, things that I expect of myself. So those are the things I'll leave you with. Raise your standards and turn your shoulds into musts. That's how you'll create the change. And absolutely make sure that every single mentor that you get, you respect, you follow their steps, you listen to them, you stay focused, you put the blinkers on, you get in line, and you stay in line. Have an awesome week, guys. Bye.